Hello, hello. Doing a quick mic check. Okay, looks like everything is working just fine. Hopefully, it's smoother today than last time. Alrighty. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. And let's switch over to cameras. Alrighty. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Allergies are getting to me, as always. Okay, let's see. Think I have everything pretty much set up. Oh yeah, I forgot. What was it? Oh, there we go. I got the little, you know, what's it called? Info there. It's worth putting out there. All right. It is ridiculously hot in my room today. Hey Donley, good to see you. How you doing? Is that an okay or is that like a shrug? Doing okay? All right. Fingers crossed the stream goes better today than it did, last time. I reset some stuff on OBS. I reset my router. Done a bunch of stuff. So fingers crossed it goes well today. So yeah, it's gonna be working on this little guy today. I think it's starting to get close to finish. And clearly there's some work that needs to be done, but yeah. That symbol is supposed to look like someone raising their hand. Got it. I can see it. Like the O and the little mark is off to the side, like raising. Yeah, I get it. Dunlace's Paradox Moose used to use that symbol all the time. Remember him from Pinky Days? I do remember Paradox Moose. Also, he used to be a part of oh, what's his name? Oh, another artist who I'm blanking on his name right now, who streams or used to stream, and he does he's also a tattoo artist and a fantasy illustrator. I'm trying to remember his name right now, but my brain will not bring it up. Starts with a J, I think. Joby, maybe? Yes. Okay. I don't know if he even streams anymore. So many people, I just don't keep up with it. Just not intentionally. I just have a hard time keeping up with stuff. All right, let's get started. Um, there it is. So I hate repeating myself. Like streaming, it's such a weird thing because I'll have a conversation, you know, like the idea is to have a conversation with everybody at the same time, but not everybody watches at the same time. So I end up repeating myself a lot. which I don't mind. I just feel bad for anyone who's watching repeatedly all the way through. So, but you know, um, I haven't figured out a solution for that yet, except for to become so insanely popular that you just tell people to go that you don't have the time and to go back and watch whatever, which I can't imagine being that person either way. So, regardless, that is all a very long-winded way of saying I have some news to share, and I'll probably repeat it a few times. So, um, but yeah, I kind of alluded to this last stream, but I I didn't want to share all the information yet, because for reasons. But yeah, starting not this week, but I think it's next week, I'm going to be doing like a 6 weeks class through the city of Austin. Um, for it's a class for managing a business uh, and growing your business as an artist. So it sounds pretty cool. I'm hoping it, translates into A, good information, and B, good connections to things. Um, Surprising how much like the cities actually do stuff related to art, and there's all these grants and all this other stuff. So I'm excited. That's why I won't be able to stream Wednesdays, starting, not, like I said, next week. Not this coming week, next week. Yep. And one of the reasons I like to share stuff like this is because I was unaware that this type of thing even existed. Uh, you know, um, Coming from illustration and more animation stuff like that. That's more of a like corporate thing. Um, and so I was not aware that there's all these things even exist. So it's nice to, hear about this stuff and learn about this stuff and so on. Donley asks, will the class be held online? It will not be held online. It will be held in person. And I don't know how much detail I'm going to get into. I also don't know too much yet. I just know that it's like a group of 24 artists or something like that, and there's going to be a mentor for like smaller subgroups that we're going to be divided into. Yeah, something like that. That's about all I know at the moment. I also know some of the like subjects that they're gonna teach, like taxes, networking, city like grants and stuff like that, which is always good to know about. But yeah, but I didn't know that like the city of Austin did something like that. When I lived in LA, I didn't know that if LA did something like that, I'm sure they do. I'm sure a lot of places do. A lot more than people would think. So that's one of the reasons I like to mention stuff like this. Sounds like great info to learn about. Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. It's also a great way to meet more artists in the community. Like I'm sure there are places, that don't have stuff like this, but I bet there's a lot more places that have this and people aren't aware of it. So, you know, thought I'd talk about it a little bit. Hey Jared, welcome. The piece looks great. Thank you. I appreciate that. How are you doing today? I am going to get started on some easy stuff to begin with. Doing well. Thanks. How are you today? I'm doing all right. A bit of a slow start, but now that I'm going, I think I'll get started. I'll get moving. Um, yeah. I was just talking about the city of Austin has these like is well, they have like a small business I don't know if agency is the right word, but office that works for helping small businesses, stuff like that. And they have a special program for artists that they're running like a 6 week class for artists on how to like be an artist and run an art business and uh, you know, um, so it's like business related stuff and networking related stuff and all kinds of things like that. So I'll be starting that uh, not this week, but next week. The reason I say not this week, but next week is because sometimes when you say like next week, people think it's like starting, like literally the next time it comes. So just yeah. So my stream schedule is going to change because of that, because it's on Wednesday night, so I cannot stream Wednesday night, but I'll adjust it probably to Thursday night or Thursday day. Jared says that sounds awesome. Um, yeah, no, it sounds really cool, and it's a great networking opportunity in the sense of like it's great to meet more artists from the community because it's like there's going to be like 24 artists in the class, plus there's the mentors for like uh subgroups and everything. So it sounds like a great opportunity to meet more people in the artist community in my area. And I was saying that I didn't know that this type of thing, this type of program, this type of workshop, anything like this even existed until someone on a Discord group posted about it. Luckily, she got in too, so we're gonna be taking the class together, which is nice. And but yeah, I was just saying that like these types of things, exist in a lot of cities, a lot of towns, a lot of places have all kinds of resources and stuff like this for either free or very cheap because they're government funded. So it's worth looking into. I didn't know this existed. Coming from animation, that's all much more of a corporate world, right? Everything's like companies, it's all like independent businesses and stuff like that. There isn't a ton of, uh, you know, um, I guess government related stuff. So I'm unfamiliar with a lot of this, and it's a learning experience, and I try and share stuff like that if I can, so that other people know about it as well. Does the artist you'll be taking the course with stream too? Uh, I don't know. I doubt it, but um, maybe. I don't know who I'm taking it with. So it's through the city. So what happens is there's going to be I'm assuming there's going to be like a main person, and then like I said, it sounds like there's going to be um what's it called? Um mentors for subgroups. So they're going to break us off into like I don't know, two, three, or four groups, something like that. I don't know who them people are there. So yeah. Jared says, how do you like animation? Well, technically speaking, I don't animate. I'm a storyboard artist. The animation industry is like, I'll put it this way. A lot of the people I've met in the animation industry, I have a lot of friends in the animation industry now, are just amazing. There's always you know, not great people in the animation industry, like anywhere, but overwhelmingly, I'd say as far as the people in the industry, I've had an overwhelmingly positive um, experience. Not 100% because nothing's 100%, but overwhelmingly positive. I've made some really great friends, um, through my like networking attempts. That just some really great people, um, and regardless of like networking has such a negative connotation. I try to view it as meeting people and making friends overall. And I had a great experience with that. As far as jobs go, it's a tough industry because it's um, like you can be on a show and then it just, either the show gets canceled or the what's it called? The production goes on hiatus or stops, or there's some kind of interruption with things, and then you're out of work. It can be that stuff can be rough. So it's very much a like, um, you have a great job until you suddenly don't, and that can be frustrating. French Fries says, "Good afternoon, Liad. Hey, French Fries, welcome. How are you today?" Donnelly says, "Sorry, when I said person you're talking to, of course, I meant the artist you knew that will be taking the course at the same time with you." Oh, okay. So let me okay, Donnelly, no, she doesn't stream. But I did see her recently working on some content for social media. So if she does post anything, she was doing some I think paint mix tutorials. So if she ends up posting that, I will happily share it in my Discord. But no, she doesn't stream that I'm aware of. Yeah. Rentra says, "I know you paint full time, but what is your job? Do you paint digitally or traditional?" So I don't. Okay, Jared. Okay, one. French fries. Yes, I paint full time, but I'm also full. Well, generally, I'm a full time storyboard artist on TV animation. At the moment, I'm in between jobs because the project I was on um, went on hiatus until because of the scheduling issues, which is what I was getting at. That like these projects can be finicky sometimes. So at the moment, I'm in between jobs, but that is very common in the animation industry. Um, so you move from one project to the next, but they don't always line up perfectly. So you go some time without, get freelance jobs in the meantime, little gigs here and there, hopefully sell some paintings, and then, get another job and so on. Although it'd be great if I could at some point not get another job and just paint full time. But yeah. And Jared was asking if I've read any good books. If you count listening through Audible, then yes, I have. Um, I don't really read books. I listen to books, but as long as you're not being super nitpicky, yeah, I have. One second, and I can pull it up. I'm trying to remember. I think it's um, there's a book. If you like urban fantasy. If you don't like urban fantasy, you probably won't like the books. But it was uh, I think it's Patricia Briggs. It's uh, what is it? Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. Uh, if it doesn't pull up immediately, I'll have to look at it later. Jared says that is reading with your mind. It counts. Uh-oh. Um, Mercy, hey, Michelle, thanks. Patricia Briggs writes the Mercy Thompson books. That's what it was. It was the latest one of that. That's what it was. However, I think my internet is going out because I cannot access that website. Let me check another website. Okay, I can pull up Twitter, which is kind of cursed at the same time. Let me see. My internet does this weird thing, which is very annoying. Okay, I guess Audible is not working right now because it would not come up. All right, need to check it out. Yeah, the Mercy Thompson books, I think they're pretty good. I like them. If you like urban fantasy type of stuff, you know. If, if you like the Dresden Files type of thing, or what is it? The Hollow series. If you like that type of stuff, it's probably kind of similar. Oh, French fries. To answer your one other aspect about your question that you asked, storyboarding is done all digitally today. No one does it traditionally. So I have a Cintiq alternative that I use, and you know, I draw everything on the computer. But yeah, um, I I'm looking forward. I'm actually going to read a book that Don Lee recommended. It's a sci-fi book, something I forget the name of it. Something Starfields, I think, or something like that. I can't remember the name right off the top of my head. Um, we'll see. We'll see how I like it. I don't love straight up sci-fi most of the time, but I don't, you know, it just depends, right? I'm a little less into it, but doesn't mean it can't be good. Conley says I'm excited for you to get started on that one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher uh, Paulini. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've read some sci-fi and liked it, and some is just sometimes I get a little lost in the science of it, and it can be boring. Although The Martian, I think it's The Martian, the guy who gets stuck on Mars. Uh, you know, that one was very science heavy, but it didn't lose momentum really. That's the one that the movie with Matt Damon was based off of. What would Ready Player One would be classified as? Is Ready Player One sci-fi or I mean, it it's sort of science fiction. I think Ready Player One is sci-fi. I haven't I haven't read the second one. What is it? Ready Player Two? Has anyone read the second one? Is it worth giving a shot to? Jared said sci-fi. Okay. Donnelly says, I didn't know there was a sequel. Um, Jared says I didn't like it as much. That's fair. I knew there was a sequel movie, I think, but or at least I thought I saw a sequel movie, but I didn't, I just assumed it was a book sequel as well. Maybe I'm mistaken and maybe I'm getting them confused and it was a book sequel that came out and they're making the movie now. I could have gotten it wrong. I didn't know about the movie. Pretty sure no sequel movie yet. Okay, I'm getting it backwards then. They announced after the movie, I guess they announced the book, maybe. Maybe that's what happened. Sorry, I'm getting everybody all confused. Yeah, I don't know. I was very hesitant to try the book out. It looked, I don't know, the sequel, I mean. And I liked the first book, but it wasn't like amazing. I liked it. I don't know, there were some issues here and there with it, but overall it was enjoyable. There were some things about the movie that I didn't like um, very much. I'm trying to remember what it was now, though. It had something to do with like the agency of the character. I felt like they kind of took that away a little bit with how they handled some things, but I can't. I'm trying to remember the details about it. I just remember watching the movie and being like a little disappointed at that. French fries, if I forgot to ask, and I apologize if I did, how are you doing today? Because I think I answered your question, but I forgot. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to and also afraid of the next Dresden File books, because the last two ones were not my favorite. Um, and I, it took a long time for them to come out, and I was not that thrilled with them. And I'm worried that the next ones are going to be deteriorating, but I'm hoping that this was kind of a reset to the series and he comes back strong, but we'll see. It's hard to keep a series going for so long, so if he needs to just end it, I'd rather he end it than continue to like, go downhill with it, but we'll see what happens. He has another book, I think it's the Spire series. It's like a sci-fi series, I guess sci-fi fantasy. I don't know. Um, Technically, I guess it's sci-fi, but in that series, the cats are a like the cats can talk and they're warriors, but they're like regular sized cats, and they also act like cats. Like they have, uh, you know, kind of the personality of real cats. Um, and he does a really good job with it. And I'm really enjoying that part of the book series. I like the other stuff too, but it's fun to see the cats interact with the people and everything. Donnelly says, I looked at the Dresden File audiobooks at my library, but they didn't have it. Really? Wow, that's surprising. Yeah, you can. I don't know if you can go to different areas, with your library, the online library thing, but I'm pretty sure you can. When I was in, okay, not the same thing, I know, but when I was in LA, I could read all of them for free, I think, up until like the latest ones. I know LA is a huge district, so I get it. Like, it's not going to apply to everybody, but yeah, I bet there's other districts out there. Donnelly says, I've been to the LA library, amazing building. I don't think I've ever been to the LA library. I've been to a library in the LA district, which is not the same thing, but gave me access to all the same books. But yeah, I have not. Um, Mostly out of sheer laziness because everything in LA is just the traffic is just traffic and parking is, you know, is like the bane of your existence in LA. And so if I don't have to drive, you know, downtown or to the wherever, like I would not. You should go, in my opinion. There's a small gallery area, beautiful architecture, though I do get it about traffic. It's pretty awful there. It's horrendous. I think I'm trying to remember. I think it's the Grand Central Station or whatever, like the train station there. It's beautiful, uh, but it's also like downtown, so it's like um, the architecture is beautiful, but the area is like awful. And uh, you don't want to really be walking around in that area, uh, and we'll just say the smell isn't great. And yeah, um, it's just one of those things. Yeah, LA is such a weird city. There's so many like, yeah, I don't know. There's so many weird things about LA, um, good and bad, you know. My buddy had an apartment downtown LA. I was walking all over the place when I visited him. That's cool. I mean, not usually the best neighborhoods in the world. Um, depending on, well, depending on a lot of things. Um, Public transportation there sucks. It's horrendous. But yeah, LA's it's funny because like you have, downtown LA, and just like when people think of LA, they think downtown LA, they think Hollywood area, but like the Valley is also LA. And there's obviously Venice and all the beach areas, but there's all these little cities that technically qualify as LA as well. Um, and so many of them have a very different flavor than like downtown LA. Um, so it's a which makes it such an interesting kind of hodgepodge city. Um, Donley says, yeah, might not have been the best idea. There was a lot of homeless, and at least one guy on the street I saw had mental problems. Yeah, you come across that quite a lot, unfortunately. Um, yeah, that's no getting around that. It's very unfortunate. But I don't think, it seems to be a problem with every big city, honestly. Um, we have issues here in Austin with that as well. Um, Anytime I've gone to a big city, basically come across those types of issues. The thing is, when you have good public transit, at least you can kind of get around. LA does not have that. So if you don't have a car, yeah, it's rough. But most cities in America don't have good public transit. Who am I kidding? We we don't have good public transit in Austin. I wish we did, but we don't. I love all the memes uh dunking uh on Elon Musk when he talks about like, reinventing public transit and how he's essentially making a worse version of trains. Uh I love those memes. You got automated, Donley. Elon talks a lot of crap. Haven't seen his public train posts. Um, it's about the Hyperloop that he tried to build, and the Hyperloop is essentially like a worse version of trains or subway, right? That's all it is. That's what the Hyperloop is. A bad a bad subway system. So you have people you just dunking on him for that stuff. It's died down. It's not as popular anymore, but I thought about it because we were talking about public transit in Austin, and he's moved a lot of the Tesla operations to Austin, which made me think of that. So I don't keep up with Elon Musk that much. I try to avoid, most of it because it's just rage bait and stuff like that. So I'm trying to, uh, you know, I want to paint the plants, but I don't want to have to paint every individual thing. So once again, it's like trying to simplify it and give the impression without having to, go in and paint every leaf and every stem. Although this is a lot easier than the last painting I did with the guy in the skirt outside in the like, you know, whatever. I don't know if forest is the right word, but yeah. Some of this will definitely be getting like definitely be going back and carving into some of this to give better definition to things. Because I still need to paint the boards behind in the background. Only says this piece has a really nice feel to it. Like I'd hang out in that room. Well, thanks. It is the view from our living room, which I mean, I don't think would be that surprising given that it's my cat I'm painting. So, kind of makes sense. Would be weird if it was like someone else's place. Like, well, maybe not that weird. I guess if you go on a trip or something, take the cats with you. I don't know. Dunley says I've requested the library order audiobook before. I'll see if they can get the Dresden books. Yeah. I know some of the so depending on where you live, like some areas are broken off into like weird districts with the library. Um, so you might actually need, or you might look into like a second library that's like nearby, possibly. For instance, when I was in LA, there was like the LA library, but then I was working in El Segundo, and they had a different library, like district or whatever. So you needed a library card for them if you wanted books from them. So I went and did that. So I had like two different places to pull books from, which helped sometimes get things or get them faster, because you can. Only thing I will say about the Dresden Files is I haven't listened like wait, no, actually I take that back. I did re-listen to some of the older books. Some of the older books, they were written a while ago, so things have definitely developed since then, both in his writing style and just the world. I think in the beginning they didn't even have cell phones or barely had cell phones, so it was like, and when he started the series. So as time has progressed, it's definitely like matured. Um, worth keeping in mind when you're reading the book series. What was it? We were watching oh what I think it's Chaos on Netflix. It's the new show with uh uh what's his name? Goldblum. Um and where he's playing Zeus. And it's really interesting. The show's good. We haven't finished it yet. It's not amazing, maybe would be the right way of putting it, but it's a good show. Um, uh, Kairos or Chaos, something strange like that. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it exactly. But the thing that got me was that in the show, they all have old school cell phones. No one has a smartphone. It's all like flip phones um or the candy bar phones or whatever, but no one has a smartphone. And every time I see that, I'm just like, what? Like, why? And I do understand it's like a different reality. So maybe they don't, but it just, we're so used to seeing it now that it's off-putting. Michelle says chaos with a K. Yep. But yeah, it's the weird, it's one of those things that every time I see it, it like grabs my attention and kind of pulls me out of the show a little. It's like it's one of those weird things that like just I don't know, maybe it's just me, but um what was it? I remember watching Spider-Man. It was not the Tobey Maguire one. It was the um not the latest one, the Andrew Garfield, I think his name is. Um and he's fighting the lizard or whatever. But none of that matters. The thing that like I'm watching this superhero movie and all the, Spider-Man fighting, all this nonsense happens at one point. And at one point, he ends up in the sewer system and he calls to warn them about something. And that totally broke my immersion because I'm like, there is no way he has cell reception in there. Like, I lose cell reception when I go into a parking lot. There is no way he is underneath the city and is texting or making a phone call. Like, it's just not happening. He's not in the subway system where they have like relay, points or whatever. He's like way down in the sewer. There's just no chance. It just totally like messed with me and took me out of the movie. Donley says, dude, you don't know Spider Cell Man? Come on, leap of faith. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can give more of a leap of faith to the superpowers than I can to the cell phone thing. I think because the cell phone thing is so like normal to our everyday life, so when something is like out of place with it, it really stands out. Or it's just me. Could be just me. Thanks, Don Lee. I appreciate that. I'm not even gonna make a comment. I also recently binged a bunch of TV shows and anime shows and stuff while I was doing other things like painting and not streaming. It's really hard to what's it called, to watch shows while streaming unless the show is also playing on for everybody. But assuming it's not, it's hard to do. But yeah, I've been binged a bunch of things lately, caught up on a lot of things. What was it? I think I talked about some of this before. I watched The Boys. That was good. Looking forward to season 5 or whatever it is. Um, Invincible, that was good. Oh yeah, I need to also, this is total side thing, but I need to think of something for Halloween for my Halloween stream. Emily says, yeah, I wasn't sure I'd like The Boys, but it was great. Yeah, it was really great. Definitely not for everybody. Same with Invincible. If you're squeamish, um, like I was watching someone react to Invincible, and it's an animated show, right? And she literally was like covering her face for some of the violence that was happening, and I'm just like, I feel like maybe you're too sensitive to watch this. Um, maybe. So just, definitely not for everybody. And The Boys also has the issue where it hits a little too close to reality, even though it's like dealing with superpower people. Like with if there's just a little bit of it that's a little too close to home right now, which I know can put off people too. Yeah. Donnelly says, I mean that train scene in Invincible and the beating he takes from his dad after is pretty intense. If you've watched, that yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, even the fight between Omni Man and what was the group's name? Um, the Defenders or whatever. It is brutal. Don't get me wrong. It was brutal, but like I wasn't like watching it, with my hands over my eyes kind of thing, right? Like it was brutal, really well done. Um, yeah. And he says, "Oh yeah, that group fight was rough too." they know how to amp up the gory action. Yeah, no, they did a great job. I love that stuff. Like I know some of the people who worked on it, and they did a fantastic job. I knew they would as soon as I knew who was, as soon as I knew they were on it. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, they did a fantastic job, and it's I will say I real one thing I really enjoyed watching Invincible for a few reasons. The show was really good. The action and everything was really good. They were very I liked watching how they like made the show. Like they were very smart with where they put their effort, and you can tell where they were cutting corners for budgetary reasons and time and everything. And they also had a joke about that in the show, but which was, funny for anyone who's into stuff like that. But yeah, it was fun to watch on pretty much all levels because of that. But yeah, there's stuff like, you could tell that they like, that they to make their life easier, they did some things, just a little cheaper or a little simpler or a little whatever, so that they could take the extra time to make those particular moments really shine. And those moments where they did not cut corners. You could tell they went for it. All right, I think it's time to get really focus on some of the detail on Dresden. There's still some stuff with his fur I need to do, and the whiskers are going to be at the very, 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 very end. But yeah, I feel like some of the detail needs to be resolved. What's interesting is his eyes in this photo are looking a little more green than they actually are. I might have to, like, I think one of his eyes is green more because of reflection than because of the actual colors of his eyes, because his eyes are not green. but I think the reflection is causing it to look that way. I did a painting as a gift for my mom. It was a painting based off of a photo of her sister and me, but when I was like a baby. Um, and the photo's an old photo, so it wasn't very good. And of course, you know, my eyes in it were very, very small, very hard to see. And then when I was painting it, I was getting a little frustrated because I'm like, I can't see the eyes. Like I need more, you know, detail. I need more information. I can't see all the detail. And I was like, oh yeah, this is me. I can just look in the mirror right now. So, yeah, that was a funny moment. So I might go pick up Dresden to look at his eyes at some point. Even though you do have to like it's good to refer to the photo because obviously lighting changes how things look. So, um, even though his eyes could be, and it doesn't matter what color his eyes are, right? If they're a certain color in the reference, there's a reason that they're that color. But having said that, um, this is a cell phone photo, and cameras are not perfect. Even the best cameras are not perfect, let alone cell phone cameras. So there's definitely some liberties to be taken uh, with that stuff. So it's worth remembering that when you're drawing or painting from reference, you know, the reference is it's one of those things where it's like it's good to refer to, it's good to understand why, but also it's not perfect, you know. The ideal thing would be to be painting from life where the subject doesn't move, sustainable, consistent lighting, and be able to recreate it perfectly. Well, not perfectly, but you know, as true as you want it to be. But like that, you know, that scenario doesn't exist. Period. Like that just doesn't exist. So I have to reach out to some of my local artist friends and see if anyone has a yellow, like a dark, rich yellow I can try out. I want to see if I can match like Indian yellow with my current palette. I think I can, but I would love to try it out. Boogie the dog? Uh, wait, Bogey the dog? Hold on a second. Hey, welcome. Is this your orange cat? Yes, it is Dresden. It is Dresden, my orange cat. He's named after Dresden from the Dresden Files. How are you doing? Mina Morgan redeemed show cat on stream. Okay, I'll show cat on stream. Although I don't think it'll be Dresden. I don't know where he is. Do you know where he is, Michelle? That's it. It's kitty time. Yeah. This is Cisco. I changed my name a while back. Oh, okay. Welcome, Cisco. How you doing? You're going to bring me Dresden? Okay. I won't say no to that. You remember my orange cat being much larger? He is very fluffy and long, but he's not really a large cat. I think he's only like, I think he's 14 pounds, I think. 11 pounds? Stay there. 11 pounds. Okay. Hi, Dresden. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, here's Dresden. Here he is. Oh, hi, little boy. He's very fluffy and he's like very lanky, but he's not a very large cat. Tristan, that's just you over there. Don't have to worry about it. No, 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 no. You're not going away that fast. Oh, let me look at your eyes. Oh, they're so beautiful. His eyes make him look very healthy. Yeah, you mean large? I mean, he is healthy. We just had him we just took him to the vet recently. He's doing well. But yeah, he's doing good. How is he not licking my nose? I took a shower not that long ago and put moisturizer on, and I don't think he likes it, so he doesn't lick my nose right after I shower, usually. He also really wants to get down, but he also wants his tail, doesn't he? Do you want your tail? Give it to me. Let it go. He's transfixed. Oh, he's purring. That's just you, Dresden. That's just you on screen. He's such a sweet cat, truly. Yeah, he just loves attention and playing. True. Very true. Okay, Dresden, I'll put you down. Oh, so much hair. Ah, I literally brush him daily and it's still so much hair. Like I have a brush here ready for when he comes in because he comes into my room and if I'm painting or on the computer, he sits in this area. He actually likes to eat the back of the brush. But yeah, I brush him like daily and it's still just so much fur. Okay, since I took a break, I am going to stretch my back real quick. Painting standing up has its advantages, but also definitely have some disadvantages. I think I might need to buy a different stool than the one I currently have. The one I currently have is one of those like wobbly stools, and I don't know. I end up not using it that much because whenever I sit on it, I like hunch over, and I don't think that's really good for me. It's hard to sit up straight and use it. So I don't know. Maybe that's a problem of all stools. I'm not sure. Does anybody have uh, a a seat slash stool recommendation for like a work, a work thing? What's her name? I always pronounce it soy milk. She's an artist. I don't know if I'm mispronouncing it. That's what it looks like to me written. It might be pronounced differently. It's also not spelled like soy, S-O-Y. It's like S-E-O-Y or S-O-E-Y. I can't remember. Um, Fantastic artist. I love her artwork. A very nice person too. I met her at Comic-Con one year. She was very sweet, very nice. But she has a stool that looks pretty comfortable. I think part of the problem is because I'm filming, I don't want to adjust my canvas. I think that might be part of the problem. what was I thinking? Oh, at some point after doing this, I'm probably gonna have to. I think I'm gonna at some point soon be doing a larger portrait. Not like huge, but larger and very much like a very strong like portrait. The Portrait Society of America has a competition, and I need a good painting to apply to it. I don't really think I have a shot of winning for numerous reasons, um, but I do think I have a decent shot of like an honorary mention or something, you know, like that. And the reason I don't think I have a shot of winning has nothing to do with me or my perception of my artwork. It's more an issue of like the way that they function, the type of what's it called, artwork that they the style of artwork that they prioritize, stuff like that. This isn't me like, you know, not believing in myself or being hard on myself or any of those types of things. It's just they have a style and a what's it called? I don't want to know if what the right word is, but they have like a general kind of style that they or look that they appreciate more than others, and they highlight that. I'm trying to remember. I think you need to be a member in order to apply for their competitions, though, if I'm not mistaken. Otherwise, I'd say everybody should just go and apply, but I'm pretty sure you have to be a member, which, I know is definitely not for everybody. However, if you're in America, actually, I'm trying to think. They also have some international stuff. But yeah, if you're into fine art, like oil painting, portraits, it doesn't have to be oil painting. They take any um any medium really. But yeah, what would count as like more fine arts, if that's your thing, I would suggest looking into them. Like I said, they do have international stuff too, so it's not solely America, but it is the Portrait Society of America. One of the hardest things to paint is there's certain colors like yellow especially, but orange too, like white too. A lot of people struggle with this. Things like that where it's like in shadow. So, like a white dress, a white flowers, stuff like that. Yellow hair, stuff like that in shadow can be very, very challenging because you want to convey the color, but they often lose their color at that point. I mean, some hair almost looks green technically in shadow. Also, we have a tendency, our brain has a tendency to overcompensate for those things. That's why people had that thing with the dress that was blue and black or gold and white. That's where that comes from. That was people's brain interpreting what they saw and then saying, okay, but under normal lighting, it would be this. So that's what I'm seeing, even though that's not what they were seeing. I'll definitely go back and do more to that eye. I just wanted to get to bring the value down a bit. Cisco, are you still here? I, I just wanted to ask you how you've been. It's been a while. What have you been up to lately? Anything you care to share? Also, no pressure. If you are here and don't feel like sharing, I always mention that because I don't want people to feel pressure to share on a public, public forum if they don't feel up to it. I'm gonna get this pattern right is annoying. Just thinking about the portrait, and I think I had an idea of someone I might want to do for the portrait for the competition. We'll see. I have to reach out to them and see if they're interested. It can't be like someone famous or stock images. It has to be a little more personal, I think. Yeah, this I will say this is something that's annoying about a lot of cats. It's all this you know, all these patterns that they have. And I say that only for when it comes to painting. Otherwise, I have no problem with these patterns, obviously. Someone at our front door. Tell them to go away, we're busy. And that's what the shotgun's for, right? Dang straight. Exactly. We are in Texas after all. There's actually a lot of places in Austin that have signs telling you that they don't allow people with weapons in, like businesses that have chosen that they don't want that. But it's such a weird thing to come across when you're not, from here originally, and you're just like, that is strange to have these signs everywhere. I did see a tutorial recently. I forget who shared it or where they shared it. I think I might. Damn, my brain does not work. I can't remember. But it's a tutorial from one of the painters on YouTube that teaches how to paint. Um, and it's a tutorial on like painting a white long-haired dog. Um, it's a good tutorial. Uh, but he does talk about using a um, what was it? Uh, natural hair bristle brush um, to get the like hair texture because it like goes on broken and that gives the illusion of fur. And I get where he's coming from. I will point out that he was saying that you can't get that with synthetics because synthetics are too tight and uniformed. Well, I would like to point out that they have much more bristle brush type synthetics now than they used to. That's a bit of an older video. And if you have an older synthetic brush that you've used and killed, you can get a lot of really um, ununiformed marks that way too. So there are other ways around that. You don't have to use a bristle brush. I messed that up. The one thing is that's good when you're working on a computer. If you need to, you can always color pick. It's not a good habit to develop, but in a pinch, it's good to have the option. I do have a tool that lets you helps with seeing color, but I don't have it right now. Uh, or rather, I have it. I just can't find it at the moment. It's it's a viewfinder thing with a hole in it. No, is it a swatch book? No, no, it's a viewfinder that's like neutral gray with a hole in it. The idea is when you put the hole over the thing you're trying to figure out the color of it, it isolates it and you can't, so then you can see it for the color it is, not for whatever your brain's interpreting it as, because it eliminates all the surrounding colors. And the neutral gray helps you evaluate the 50, it's like 50% neutral gray, helps you evaluate the value of it too. And then the viewfinder part is useful when you're trying to like not just plein air paint, but it helps you pick like your dimensions and your framing. Swatch books. I'm not a huge like user or fan of swatch books or anything like that, honestly. It's not that I don't think that they have a use. I think I didn't know about them at the right time for it to be useful for me. By the time it would have been useful for me to like know about swatch books, I didn't have a use for them anymore. It only asks a viewfinder with a net neutral gray to it. It only reference photos, or does it work off of life? It's actually probably better for real life than it is for reference photos, honestly. It's very useful for like plein air painting, or if you want to paint from a model, you could use it for that as well. Donnelly says, as you know, I was a graphic designer, so swatch books were pretty important. That's why I thought of them. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for different things, they're very useful. There's like, the Pantone color books and stuff like that. Like, there's a reason those exist. They're very useful for certain types of things, for sure. I'm thinking more about the swatch books that people make for their art supplies. I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube. There's all these artists who they make these swatch books, and for some reason it seems to be watercolor artists do this a lot. They make these whole books, these whole swatch books, and then there's also in the book Alla Prima, there are these not swatch books, but these color charts that you make as a it's like a exercise, and a lot of artists do that. They make these color charts where they're mixing their paints in their palette, and they're creating these charts that kind of show the whole. It's like multiple charts, and they show the range that your palette can achieve. And it helps people learn how their pigments work better and what the limitations of their palette is and so on. Like I said, I think I was exposed to all of that just too late. And by the time I got to that, I was just like, yeah, really, I don't need to waste that much paint. I know what my paints can do. I do sometimes exercises to like try out, and I call them like paint experiments where I try out like special individual things for a pigment or a new paint, but um, it's very like small in scope in comparison to those like charts and stuff. Don Lee says, the natural gray viewfinder sounds really interesting. I'd like to find a video of someone using it, maybe. Sure. I don't know. You can find it on like any, you can probably find it on Amazon too, honestly, if you wanted to like see what it looks like. It's a little plastic square with a little square inside of it that slides in and out, and it gives you different proportions. Like if you want an 8 by 10 or a 5 by 7 or whatever, there's like some marks on it. And then, like I said, there's just a hole in the middle of it for the to look through. And so you understand when you look through it, you're not putting it up to your eye because that lets you see more. You're holding it out and putting it in front of whatever it is you want to uh, isolate to get the color of. But yeah, I don't know that it like, I think once you see what it looks like, I don't think you'll even need a video of someone using it because I feel like it's very self-explanatory. Okay, I have too much texture over here and I don't like it, so I'm going to scrape it off. I don't mind I don't mind texture, but sometimes in the wrong place, it creates highlights and shadows, and in such a small place where I'm trying to get other details, it's making me like not able to get those details. Donley says Control Z. Yeah, definitely. It's one of the great things about oil paint. It's um, it's so forgiving. I know not everybody thinks that, but I do. It's such a forgiving medium. Right now I'm just covering everything up and I'll be putting in the whites on top of the darker color. But yeah, oil paint is such an easy uh, medium in that sense when it comes to when it comes to traditional mediums. It's just so forgiving. You can almost always, like, first of all, it stays wet for a long time, so you can make changes and everything. And then you can usually cover stuff up, and then, you can often scrape things off. So it's just, there's so much options. Most annoying thing about oil paints is well, not the most annoying things. One of the most annoying things is when you want the drying time to be quicker and if you don't have the mediums for it, or if weren't using them and then something comes up and you want it to be dry quicker, or you want just one little section to be dry quicker and everything else you want to dry slowly. Sometimes having paint dry quicker lets you do certain effects or something that you can't do when it's wet. For instance, it's really hard to put a ruler down and draw out straight lines on a wet painting, right? Without messing it up. So, at that point, you kind of want it to be dry. Uh, that is the unfortunate, annoying part of oil paint. Having said that, the slow drying time most of the time is a huge asset. Just sometimes it's not. But yeah, I feel like people are afraid of oil paints because of the toxicity. I know I was. And then also, they come across as very involved and complicated. But once you get past some of the learning curve, yeah, it gets real easy, real fast. As far as the medium goes, painting's always hard. Every artist I know at least thinks so. Did my internet go out? What's happening? It says chat disconnected. They're trying to reconnect me. Uh, okay. Guess not. Successfully connected. That's interesting. I don't know what that's about. Oh well. I think this part is incorrect here. I think I need to fix something there. Also, I think I shrunk this eye as I was trying to mold it into place. Alrighty. I think I'm about close to calling it a day for today. I wish I'd finished this, but you know, what you gonna do? It's a little over ambitious to think that I'd be able to get it done today on stream. You know, maybe if I wasn't streaming and I was just focused on this, I don't think I could have got it done in 2 hours regardless, but you know, maybe if I continue working on it today, I can get it done. Um, Probably won't because I have another painting I'm working on, but yeah. I've been enjoying working on this on stream. It gives me an excuse to talk about Dresden on stream. Hey Donley, thanks for the party. And thanks for being here. I appreciate your company. And if I haven't mentioned it already, for anyone who doesn't know, Don Lee is a streamer. He streams, he does digital artwork on Twitch. Check him out. Uh, he has some merch for Halloween right now on his website. But yeah. And then I will be back on Wednesday to stream. Be the last Wednesday stream for a while, but it's not a bad thing. I'll change days and stream another day during the week. But yeah, so I'll be back on Wednesday and um, probably be working on Dresden some more. Because like I said, I don't think I'll work on him off stream. Uh, Join the Discord. It's a great way to keep in touch for anyone who isn't part of the Discord. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'll finish up in just a minute here. That's too bright. Don't want to leave it like that. Alrighty. Yeah, I think I'll be calling that a day today. I think I got a lot done actually when I step back and look at it. Yeah. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your weekend. I know it's almost over, but have a great Sunday, and I'll catch you on Wednesday.